Hey guys, Andy here. I'm quite excited for today's video because, well, this is the first flagship device I've reviewed since my Pixel Pixel 2 XL, which was about 9 months ago. The main reason because I'm back to buying my own devices now, and I can't easily spend £700 each time a new device comes out, or 800 or 900. But I will pimp Patreon if you want to help out. I think somewhere down here it should say about my Patreon address. It'd be great if you can send a few pounds my way each month. Anyway, that's all, moving on. So this particular one is the Xperia XZ2, and yes, America, it's pronounced Z. The XZ2, which is Sony's sort of flagship device at the moment. It can be had for about £630 on Clove, or about £574 on giffgaff. So actually, for a flagship, that's not too bad. I don't know if that's because it's been out for a little while now, so the price has come down, or if that's where it started. I'm not sure actually. The other reason I'm quite excited because the last Sony device I reviewed was the Xperia X Performance, and that was 2 years ago. And I think generally, and this is from my very bad memory, I've quite liked the Sony devices. It often has come down to the software, which I've not liked as much, but the hardware and the cameras and everything else has been very good. So because it's been so long since I've last reviewed one, I'm quite keen to see what this is like, because I think I've also, although I've not really seen reviews and things about the XZ2, I think the bits that I have heard have generally been quite positive. So yeah, it should be quite interesting. I also worry that I'm maybe becoming a Sony fanboy. I didn't realise until recently, maybe it was the headphones, but so my TV is now Sony, my soundbar is Sony, and my noise cancelling headphones of choice are Sony. Am I becoming a Sony fanboy? I ever thought I was, but a lot of the things, I mean, maybe it just says they make good stuff. So this is a review unit that Sony have sent to me. Thank you very much, Sony. So I'm not quite sure what we'll see when we get into the box. So there's the actual device. Wow. Initial impression, that's quite a lump, basically. That is quite a big device. But let's pop that aside for a second and just see what else is in the box. Again, it's a review device, so we might not even get everything we're supposed to. So I think the earphones are gone. The dongle is still there, look. So it is USB Type-C. So there's the Type-C to 3.5mm. Let's not worry about putting it back for now. And there's the charging brick. And again, have I got a actual? I mean, not that I need a charging cable because I've got plenty of. Well, there we go. So there's the actual cable, and we've got the usual documentation in there, which I can't say I'm particularly bothered about reading. Again, let's just sling all of that aside. So that does feel quite a heavy device. Feels quite slippy because it is just feel glass front and back. And almost the camera looks quite low in the back as well. Is that just me? We can see the fingerprint sensor. Not that it matters. I'm just kind of commenting. You're used to seeing cameras up around this part of the phone. It's just looks good with it. So the Xperia logo at the bottom. Oh, it looks like we've got a dedicated camera button. I'm assuming that's the power button, and here's the volume rocker. There was a little bit of damage already. I'd like that to be. So, can you please note that it wasn't me? Nothing on the other side. The USB Type-C at the bottom with the microphone and the SIM tray. Well, that's possibly the micro USB. Or is that the SIM? Well, leave it with me. Obviously, I'll look into that. Now, you might have guessed it. The unboxings are often quite an exploration. I'm going to start trying to boot it up. There we go. So I've got a bit of information on the device, but I prefer in some ways to go into the unboxing blind, so to speak, and just kind of finding things out as I go. If you want to know more specific details about it, maybe just wait for the review, which will be definitely within the next 2 weeks. I've got to get it back to Sony in 2 weeks' time. Normally in about a week's time, I'll be able to use it from tomorrow. This to start my my testing. So let's have a bit of a talk about some of the. Well, actually, before we move on to the hardware, just briefly about the design. Let's just turn that back off again. So GSM Arena says this screen is 76.1% of the front, so the screen to body ratio, which would actually mean that they're large bezels, but I wouldn't say that they are large bezels top and bottom. That's not particularly big either end, and I don't think it's particularly big from the side by the looks of that, so it seems a little bit odd. What else do you know about design? Rear fingerprint sensor I've mentioned. So it comes in liquid black, liquid silver, deep green and ash pink. The actual hardware is pretty top end. So it's a Snapdragon 845 chipset. It's an octa-core, oh goodness, 4x2.7 GHz Cryo 385 gold and 4x17 GHz Cryo 385 silver. So it's kind of like having two quad-core CPUs. One's for kind of when it's really pushing things, and one's for when it just needs to save a bit of energy. The GPU is the Adreno 630. I think it's got 64 gig of storage, and it's got either 4 or 6 gigs of RAM. I need to see when we get in there. It apparently has stereo speakers. Whoops, that's how slippy it is. Although I don't entirely see how. So I guess one will be in there, but is the other one just... I don't know, we'll see. And you may have noticed it's not got the 3.5mm headphone jack. The screen is 5.7 inch IPS LCD. It's 1080 by 2160. That's an 18:9 ratio with about 424 pixels per inch. It's all protected by Corning Gorilla Glass 5. I assume front and back, but I'm not sure. The cameras, let's mention those. So it's a 19 megapixel Sol 1 camera that does f2.0, the lower the better. f2.0 is not great actually, but Sony generally I kind of trust them with their cameras, so let's wait and see. It does 2160p at 30 frames per second or 1080p at 60 frames per second, so that's pretty good. The front facing camera is only 5 megapixels and it's f2.2, so again, doesn't sound great, but let's wait and see what the results are. And then we should be on Android 8.0. So, I think what I might do at this point, I mean, it all seems very... Actually, let's just look and see what software version it's running. System, about phone. So we are on 8.0. The security patch is from April. Which isn't too bad. Well, yeah, I suppose it's 4 months. Mind you, I don't think my Pixels had the August patch yet, so maybe 3 behind. I guess let's have a quick look. I haven't really brought... Oh, save location, yeah, that's fine. Just take a picture of the box here. That wasn't particularly quick, I wouldn't have said. But I mean, obviously the image looks okay. We're not... Actually, it looks a bit out of perspective, does it not? Maybe? No, I don't know. Obviously, I'm going to do much better testing and looking at the camera app and all that kind of thing. So I think what I would do is get it connected to my Wi-Fi, get a couple of bits installed, and then I'll come back to you. So I've got a couple of bits installed. I mean, mainly Geekbench, and check the YouTube is up to date. So we get confirmation there that it is in fact 4 gig of RAM. I'm going to go ahead and start up the benchmark. So I've got it set up, I've got it logged into my Wi-Fi. Strangely, it didn't seem like 5G Wi-Fi, but that might be my issue rather than the phone's. And I have to say, it's all very slick and smooth. I mean, it's flying through this Geekbench at this point. At this point, I'm using Geekbench 3. Oh, there's a system update. So I'm going to check what that is in a moment. Wow. That is the highest multi-core score I've ever had. 9,800. I mean, it did fly through that test. So I will update it to Geekbench 4 at some point and run that test as well now, because I'm kind of trying to make the crossover. But basically all my historical data is on Geekbench 3, all my sort of comparisons using Geekbench 3. So I'm finding it hard to move to the newer version, which looks to be slightly different test. Anyway, almost 10,000, that's huge. And I think you can see it is, to me, very slick and fast. Now actually I wanted to, so it does say here, it'll start here. I guess we'll just have a bit of a look and see what... hello? Maybe this is a bad idea. So let's not worry too much about that. Let's come back out. So I want to have a look at YouTube just so I can see, and I fancy. Oh, hello. Not now, thank you. Now I've got to be careful because oh, Sony's dynamic okay. So I can feel the device itself. Where's the speaker? Oh, there it is, look. Dynamic very. So I can feel the phone sort of vibrating in my hand at this point. Okay, so let's, how do we get, let's get YouTube back. Yes, full screen, thank you. Okay, so we got the old pinch to zoom. Let's get the brightness all the way up, shall we, as well? Can we do that? Yep. But yeah, what they actually didn't like, it wasn't that I had the sound of the music video that I was showing. They actually picked me up on, because I turned the sound down for most of it, they picked me up on the visual of the video. So I'm actually going to go back to good old, where's Ed? There he is. So I'm not sure that sounded all that good, if I'm honest. Ooh, that sounds better. So I'm not sure about the speaker at this point, the speakers. I want to say they sounded that great, but we'll see, we'll see. I suppose I can I try, where's Dropbox gone? Oh, this is another thing again, so Sony, maybe they've not improved as I might have hoped. Well, I mean, I guess there's the option. So basically the apps aren't sorted. Sort apps by name. Right, so then I want, now it should in theory be easier to find Dropbox. There we go. Go into device testing. So now I've got some, let's just use, this is a clip of sort of podcast basically.
Go do mass surveillance. It also overturned a lot of the rules and laws, and now we're in the situation where people are clamoring for the Googles and the Facebooks and the Twitters to lock them. That Google and other social network. So
that doesn't sound too bad. Obviously, I'll do my tests that I normally do, so I'll get the old decibel meter on it, see how loud it is. Let's see if we can see what this system update is. Does it actually tell us? No, it tells us the sort of Xperia version. Doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. So I'll leave it just for the moment. Obviously, I'll do that shortly. Yeah, so I'll do my full testing. I'll test the camera better. I'll be testing the screen brightness. It seems that does seem quite bright to me. But obviously, I'll get the actual light meter on it to see how it scores. If you haven't already subscribed, please do, because you'll get the updates of any videos that I do on it. I think I'll compare it video wise, camera wise in some ways, to my Pixel 2 XL. It's probably the first device I've had since I've had the Pixel that is worthy of sort of being compared to it, I guess. So that could be interesting. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you've got any particular questions, pop them in there. I'll try and remember to answer them when I do the review. Otherwise, my name's Andy. I'll catch you all again soon. Well done, and thank you for making it to the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, you might want to click the little fellow that should hopefully appear about here to subscribe. You may also want to check out some of my other videos, which are going to appear somewhere there. Also, come and have a look at my website, androidandy.uk. There is also a forum. Come and say hello on the forum. If you've got any questions about things, or request me to review things, or anything else, just come and have a chat on the forum.